Gondor was defeated in the fields of Pelennor. Minas Tirith has fallen, and an army led by the Witch King enters the lands of Gondor. The armies of Mordor are large, but the men of Gondor and the men of the West can count on their quality to take out the enemy numbers. However, will this be enough, or will the world of men fall into darkness? So Gondor has fallen. The soldiers of the West look for some form of hope, and this battlefield hopefully will give it to them. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Dawnless Days Lord of the Rings online battle. Today we are diving in with an epic 3 vs 2, and if you guys enjoy these battles and want to see more of them on the channel, please do let me know, as I'd be more than happy to continue on any other story-esque battles that we do get, because it's always cool when they have a bit of backstory to them. At least I think so. So in this battle, we, as I mentioned, have 3 evil armies pushing up against the last remnants of the Gondorians in this really cool mountain settlement. The Dawnless Days are doing a great job with all these cool custom maps, obviously preparing for their campaign release. And the men of, kind of good, the men of the West are definitely up against it. They of course have the quality, lots of very elite soldiers, there's even some mountain guards in these forces, but again, being so heavily outnumbered is going to be very hard. The Gondorian cavalry, along with some detachments from Dol Amroth, are going to be making up this right hand side, looking to try and find the weaknesses in the enemy armies. However, there is a lot of very good Black Númenórean cavalry over on their flank to go ahead and match them, and the same is going to be over here on the right hand side. We'll simply have to see if these soldiers are going to be good enough. I think the Gondorians definitely need to utilize these terrain to their advantage, forming up these like defensive blocks here, preventing the enemy cavalry from being able to outflank them, and of course preventing the forces of evil from utilizing them huge amount of numbers that they have. There is a lot of these Uruk-Throng across the board basically, and these guys are pretty decent. For orcs, you wouldn't think that these guys would be able to hold their own, but they definitely do, even against the Gondorians and other forces. When the forces of evil utilize them, they're going to be very effective. They even have a couple units of these awesome looking Olokai as well, very deadly units, and they even have custom animations as well, which is also really cool, along with the elephant sounds, which hopefully will be edited out soon enough as the mod gets more and more developed. The cavalry pushing along this right hand side, but I like what the forces of evil are doing over here. They're basically saying, nope, this is a pretty expensive unit of Morgul Legion. They're like, what, 900 gold? So it's a pretty expensive unit to stick out here, but it does also block off this entire pathway from the cavalry. So now the cavalry has to basically just run all the way back right there, because there is no path. There's lots of pretty cheap Uruk units over here. I mean, as I say cheap, these are quite a lot, but I guess they have the number advantage, so why not utilize that to really shut down the forces of Gondor and their cavalry. We're getting more and more horses moving out over here. It seems like a big push here. Lots and lots of servants of the eye. This is really scary, and here we go. The Gondorians are set up. Arrow fire is being shot off. We've got a couple units of Gondorian bowmen, one of my favorite units in the entire roster, one of the first units we realistically ever saw in this mod. And it's just cool. This is like one of the things that just really, as a kid, I remember watching the movies and seeing these archers firing. And yeah, it really brings me back to that nostalgia. I'm sure there's some units of you guys in the comments that you guys will be able to say. And there we go. The forces are now clashing. The Gondorians going toe-to-toe with the Uruk-Throng. More and more halberds being brought up as the battle line is just smashed against. I would assume a lot of this arrow fire is going to be heavily focused down on trying to kill these halberds, which are going to be brutal. Definitely a hard match. And then over on this side, the Gondorians, once again, are getting charged down. Luckily, they do have some pretty elite units on this side. Citadel Guard across the board. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Positioned here in the forests. And yeah, they are also going up against some of these Mouths of Sauron units. These guys are, again, very good guards of the teeth. And without kind of a lot of arrow fire, they're going to quite quickly rip through this front line. So yeah, these arrows need to start piling in. I wouldn't even be surprised if you pulled back the guards of the teeth, gave a bit more room, because yeah, there's a lot of halberds. The cavalry have tried to reform here. There's just not really much they can do. I say that, they can quite easily break through this. In the Dawnless Days, 3 ranks of infantry just isn't enough. Swan Knights will tear them apart. Granted, they'll take a bit of damage as they smash into them. But yeah, this line just isn't thick enough to withstand this, and I think that's exactly what we're about to see. But they do need to be careful as well. A lot more cavalry coming off, and they could hit them. But yeah, as long as they got infantry to reinforce, we should see, yeah, this cavalry... Oh, I say that? Yeah, they did break through. Now we need to pull out of here before we get countercharged. And we also get another massive cavalry fight between the Gondorians and the Servants of the Eye, which is not going to go in their favor. The Dartmouth Cavalry might stand a chance. They are very good melee cavalry. But the other units they have in these, the Gondorian cavalry will not stand. And we can even see some of the cool units. They must have forgot their helmets at home. Is it because they're like a named character unit? Because they're adding in a lot of character units now? No Prince Imrahil or anyone here. Just forces charging into battle. The Servants of the Eye are going to have a field day here. Nice move there with the cavalry pulling them out, though. Again, would have done some decent damage. Yeah, I mean, that unit lost about 30 soldiers. But again, is it worth the 5 or 6 cavalry you lose? But a really nice move here. Going to be utilizing the horses to get around here. If they can surround this and break away the cavalry, then they can really start to do some nice maneuvering. Come all the way around here, put pressure here if they try and retreat, and start, putting a lot of pressure here. Because if any cavalry gets into the back of this entire line is going to break. These Uruks are not going to stand. And then they can obviously go into the Morgul Legion and the other really good aggressive units. Speaking of which, though, it does seem like the halberds had just completely overrun this position. The Gondorians deciding to actually fall back from here because they just can't deal with the amount of halberds on the evil side of things, and they're able to push in. Over on this other side as well, more Uruks have made their way around, but they got Fountain Guard back here. They ain't getting through there, let me tell you that for free. The arrow fire as well focused in, so this was a really nice move, and there's not really any infantry to exploit this gap. Normally you would see like this happening and an infantry pouring through this, but because they're attacking from 3 sides and they've got a decent amount of forces over on this left hand side, they just don't have the soldiers. However, reinforcements are now arriving from the evil side, and oh my god, this is going to be brutal for the forces of good and the men of the west. Not good whatsoever. They really needed to kind of deal with these guys a little bit quicker, honestly. And they've done a great job. The Servants of the Eye, at least on the front line, are now dwindling. But yeah, the evil armies are now just marching in. The spears are about to reinforce. Not that they even need it, I don't think. I think the cavalry is going to be enough to really finish this one off. And even on this side, a really nice envelopment there. The men of the west are up against it now, losing even more men. They were already heavily outnumbered. But yeah, now the Uruks and the Orcs are very much racking up that kill advantage. Both sides losing, well, the Forces of Evil losing about 2,000 men so far. Forces of Good around about 1,000. But unfortunately, that's not going to be looking good. However, big plays here. Prince Imrahil himself leading the charge into the enemy ranks, able to start hammering away at that morale. With the Citadel Guard backing them up as well. With the arrow fire coming in, they are rallying to the cause. Imrahil going in once again, just trying to cause this mass rout off. But we do have the Olokai marching, charging with their elephant trunks, flying into the darkness. And they are going to come in. They have really cool custom animations. So if you haven't seen the Olokai before, yeah, they do some serious work. Now what really needs to happen is Prince Imrahil needs to get out of here and away from the trolls. There is basically no cavalry around here. All the cavalry has been sent over to this left-hand side. So they need to get out of there. However, they need to be careful not to get caught by these cave trolls. They will start smashing away and doing some crazy damage here. All the arrow fire has now been focused down on the trolls. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And they've just broken through. The line is just not fierce enough. Luckily, those from Citadel Guard have been able to catch them. And there you go, the troll custom animations there, smacking down with them huge warhammers that they have available to them. And the cavalry pulls back out as more reinforcements come back. Over on the rear position right here in the mountain pass, the Fountain Guard and also these Gondor spears are more than enough to deal with these half-orc axes. But they're still going to be able to take their pound of flesh. I think right now what you're going to have to do now is there is a unit of Uruk archers, but you're going to have to reinforce elsewhere. I would imagine, yeah, right here, the Morgul Legion breaking through. The archers are playing a very good job. The Gondorians are doing a great job with what they have, allowing the forces of evil through in certain situations to utilize their archers, utilizing their infantry. But yeah, this is what I'm afraid of. You guys can see it moving off into the distance. Is that a whiff of cloud? No, that is not. That is a force to be reckoned with, and they are barreling down. The Olokai, even after taking arrow volley after arrow volley, are still moving in. They are heavily armored and able to get into the back of the Citadel Guard. Them hammers crushing down on even the most heaviest and strongest of armors. More and more soldiers pushing in. Fountain Guard over on this side now, rallied to the cause, looking to obviously hunt down the Olokai as best as they can. But now these gaps that the Gondorians have left in their ranks are going to be utilized against them. This cavalry is going to be opening up into this field like so, and they're going to start having an absolute field day in these back ranks. If I was them, I'd be hunting down Imrahil, trying to take him down, reinforcing this flank as best as I could, and then obviously surrounding this entrance. You don't really need to commit more men over here. Your Olokai seemingly are going to be able to do more than enough to finish them off. Right now, though, they are just like disrupted, breaking through enemy ranks, trying their best, hitting Gondorians in the back right there. And yeah, another huge hit down there on the Gondorians. The arrow fire coming in, and there you can start to see the cavalry, the servants of the eye, breaking through and hunting down what remnants really remains of the Gondorian archers. They are out of ammunition, to be fair, and we're going to need something big. Imrahil is coming out for one last push right now. I guess the forces are good. Their main plan right here is to try and just break the front line, try and break this flank so they can at least turn and try and do some serious stuff. However, the Gondorians, along with taking a lot of missile fire, and the cavalry on this side are definitely not going to be able to stand. The archers are getting as close as possible, and in second thought deciding to actually fall back and allowing the cavalry to now come in. The cavalry is going to be hitting into their ranks, getting stopped in their tracks. However, it is more than enough, and I think, yeah, all hope is lost. The White Tower burns, the tree never blossomed, and the will of men is soon to run out. Aragon never came. Rohan never reinforced. But maybe we'll see another battle spawning from this. A battle in Helm's Deep maybe would be really cool. Forces of Evil looking like basically they've got this one on lockdown now, reinforcing this area. The Gondorians are still fighting hard, and they do still have some good units remaining. But yeah, they're about to get hit from every single side. They're basically forming as best of a new box as they can. The Fountain Guard setting up a pretty weak formation here. However, they don't really have time to reinforce, and we go more Olokai charging into battle.
Enemy units have returned to the battle.
Able just to start clubbering down. And Imrahil is doing a great job, you know. That cavalry is so valuable. 152 kills on him is always very, very impressive. More soldiers moving around again, just trying to cut off Imrahil's retreat as best as they can. And just force him in, box him into this section where there is no escape. He will not live to fight another day, unfortunately. I would be interested to see as well if Olokai went down. I mean, that's the benefit. They're expensive units, right? But they've got 150 kills, and they haven't lost a single Uruk, a single troll. And they've also been, like, engaged pretty heavily with the Gondorian forces. They've been taking arrow volley after arrow volley. Now, granted, one of the best things to kill the trolls with is definitely the Pelargir Marines, one of the state units from Gondor. They throw like these harpoons that have armor-piercing attacks, and they're great. They will melt these trolls. But unfortunately, the evil player didn't really utilize his trolls very well, keeping them away from the scary units. And the Gondorians just didn't really have the assets to deal with them either, so they were able to cause a lot of mayhem. Even though just the sheer amount of soldiers now, it is really causing an end. The rear passageway has now been broken, and the evil forces now march their way slowly but surely, cleaning off what remnants of the Gondorians remains. And now there is just simply rear charge into the Gondorian Citadel Guard, who will not break easily. Let me tell you that. They will stand. Is that Imrahil himself? Well, that could be Imrahil right there. And there's a few of his private guards scattered around. And these Uruk Throng won't really take down the cavalry. They'll pick them off as they try and pull out and stuff, but it's going to take something a little bit scarier. And yeah, look at that. Utilizing the map very effectively. Blocking off these retreat routes. Again, over on here, the cavalry now breaking out, and they'll basically finish off what remains. Even the Fountain Guard, I imagine they're racking up a decent amount of kills. Yeah. Look at that. But Imrahil has just gone down, I think. Yeah, Imrahil has been slain. There's actually two Imrahils in this battle, funny enough. Oh, that arrow volley was brutal. Just straight up finishing off what remains of their units. Their king going down. And with only 40 seconds left in the battle, we can quite clearly see this battle was always going to be a pretty brutal one for the defenders, but again, this was more of a cinematic battle, and that was always more of a cinematic battle rather than a balanced kind of competitive match. We're just kind of showing a story, which is always really, really cool. So that's going to do it for this small engagement. If you guys enjoyed this, please drop a like and a comment down below. I would love to do more of these if the views and the likes and the comments are all there, so let me know down below in the comments, and of course by dropping a like. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I upload Bannerlord, everything Lord of the Rings, and plenty more strategy games. So if that's your type of thing, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.